welcome to part 2 of my top 20 Hellfire Gala fan art designs countdown. If you've already seen part 1 and want to skip ahead to the rest of the countdown, feel free to use the chapters and pass by this preamble, or if you haven't seen part 1 yet, then be sure to check that out first. In case you're new to the channel or have been living under a rock slide, I'll start this video off by talking a little bit about what the Hellfire Gala is. Basically, the Hellfire Gala is the big X event of 2021 that's going down this summer. It's being touted as a huge party that will have twists and turns that are bound to have a lasting effect in the X world and change the community as we know it. Marvel is also unveiling the new X team at the gala, and it gave fans the chance to help fill out the roster via the X-Men election that was held this past winter. I voted for Tempo, but it looks like most people voted for Polaris, so I expect the Mistress of Magnetism to be joining the X ranks once again. The lead up to the Hellfire Gala has been full of tasteful teases, and one of the best parts to come out of it has been the resurgence of high fashion X-Men couture, and X fans have been going nuts over it. A few weeks ago, Marvel unveiled some of the official outfits that some of the characters will be wearing for the gala. They were designed by Matt Douterman, and for the most part, they all looked really super swanky and awesome. I created a video of my own personal ranking of all those outfits, so I implore you to check that out. But from that outfit reveal, a frenzy of fan-designed gala costumes has been making its way across the interwebs. Twitter and Instagram have both been infused with glorious gala fan art, and it has been awesome seeing what people envision certain characters to be wearing for this event. We are certainly a creative bunch of fans, and if I could draw, I would certainly be joining in on the fun, but alas, I was not gifted with the power of design. I found over 80 designs in total to sort through and consider which ones were my favorite while I was making this list, and in general, all of them are great and everyone is skilled in their own way, but I managed to find a top 20 that I felt either looked really cool or really embodied the character or really took everything I knew about them to an elevated place. This is part 2 of my top 20 countdown, where I'll be highlighting numbers 10 to 1. Numbers 20 to 11 were featured in my previous video, so again, if you haven't checked that out first, then please do so that you can get the full top 20 experience. My general disclaimer for this is that I'm not judging anyone's drawing ability. It's literally just me looking at art and deciding which ones are my favorites according to my personal tastes, which I think is always a fun thing to do. So without further ado, let's finish off this countdown. Here is part 2 of my top 20 fan-designed X-Men Hellfire Gala outfits. Number 10, Darkveil. Darkveil isn't super evolved to me as a character yet. When she popped onto the scene as like the first drag queen X-Man, her name was Shade, and she was just full of stock drag queen-isms that made her seem really one-dimensional to me. I'm happy they changed her name to Darkveil in her subsequent appearances because Shade was just so on the nose. I would love to see this character fleshed out more beyond what we see on RuPaul's Drag Race, because I actually think she and her power are really cool. She uses dark force energy to create teleportation pockets which open with like a flap of her fan. Dark Force characters are like some of the most interesting ones for me. We don't get to see the Dark Force dimension explored too often, but it's like a classic Marvelism to fall back on when needing to give a character some sort of power, and I just really like it. I think the fan element as the source of her connection to the Dark Force is also really fun. And even though I just criticized the character for relying too much on drag queen tropes, which like a fan most certainly is, I think it's fun enough so that it can Shantae totally stay. Now, in terms of the outfit, I really think this is fantastic. It's big and it's bold and it's super glamorous, which for any drag queen going to any gala, the outfit probably should be. I think the color is gorgeous and that it really looks elegant paired with the deep dark force blackness of her fan. Drag outfits are often designed with a theme in mind, and as far as I can tell, Darkveil tapped into the concept of Krakoa for this one. It looks like her gown is meant to mirror the Krakoan flowers and like the general flora that exists on the mutant island. The folds and the puffs very much resemble leaves and petals, and even her stockings have like a rooty tree-like texture to them. Even though Krakoa is wholly biological and based totally in science, it still feels like it's kind of a magical place. So the use of those, I don't know what they are, fireflies or something around the sheer skirt of her gown pays homage to that sense of mystery and fairy taleness that still surrounds Krakoa. Probably the best part for me is the nod to the Krakoan gateways that she's placed in her wig. It looks really cool, and it stands out as like the only white and bluish element of this outfit, but it doesn't really compete with the muchness of everything else. The whole look is a lot to take in, but it's a lot that's really well balanced. The hair portal also complements her power of being a teleporter anyway, so it's kind of hitting two great references for me. I think picking Krakoa as a design concept was a really smart choice because Krakoa is the thing that unified the mutant population, and that's definitely something to celebrate at an event like the Hellfire Gala. And how cool would it be if that gateway in her wig is actually a functioning portal? Like, if the drink lines at the gala are just too long, hop through Darkveil's hair and hit up the tiki bar at the Green Lagoon. Such a considerate queen. Number 9, Darwin. I really like this Darwin outfit. At first glance, I thought it might be too simple, but I found myself continually drawn back to it, and each time I discovered something new that made me like it even more. I love the bulky cloak over the somewhat slinky romper. That's essentially what the ensemble is, but I think that it works so well. The cloak is kind of layered out a bit and has lapels and I want to say like pockets somewhere in there, but it's really the hood that's doing it for me. Darwin is kind of a mysterious guy, and this gives him a mysterious look. I actually think Darwin looks more like a druid in this outfit than Richter could ever hope to be in any of that makeup that he's been sporting lately. Darwin as a druid actually makes sense to me too, whereas I'm still struggling to accept Richter's involvement in mutant magic and all that jazz. What kept me coming back to this outfit was the cut of the jumpsuit. It's using triangles with a very sexy and deep plunging neckline in the front and then a cute little cut in the back. It doesn't quite fit as snugly as, say, like spandex would, but in my opinion, that's a good thing because then the romper would probably have looked way too much like a superhero costume, which it is not. This is a fashionable moment, and a little bag and a little sag in the right places can usually hit all of the right spots, which this one does. I love the boots too. They're simple, but again, the whole look is arguably simple, so it would do the outfit a disservice to suddenly go gaudy on the footwear. But as they stand, they overlap the pants and are just a touch of a shade darker than the romper is to help them pop out a little bit. The color of the whole thing is actually one of the best things about the overall outfit for me. I love the earthy tones. It's all basically like a hunter green, but it works for Darwin. His power is evolutionarily based, which often ties into nature, and his body compensates to adapt to life-threatening situations. So dressing him in an outfit that harkens back to nature feels honest and relevant for him. Number 8, Pyro. I'm warning you now, shirtless men is a recurring theme in this list, so get into it. This outfit is kind of like the bad boy version of Angel's outfit from the official X-Men Gala reveal. Both of them have very similar features. No shirt, pants, cape, and shoes. But I mean, I really like that Angel look, so it should come as no surprise that I liked the Pyro version of it too. If anything, I think that the overall idea of this look is actually better suited to Pyro's personality than it is to Angel's. Pyro really has certified himself as a bad boy on the Marauders team. He's a wild card, as I find most of the villains are when they're on a team, which makes them great for storytelling and plot devices. Since Pyro's rebirth from the Resurrection Protocols, I really get the image of him being like a free-spirited hooligan. He died a while ago from the legacy virus, and after living a life of petty crime, I see Pyro as wanting now to live his life more for him, free of structured gangs like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and just like enjoy life a little bit. That's what I'm getting from this outfit. It's like Pyro wants to wear something fun without having to worry about any sort of fashion critique. He reminds me a lot of Billy Idol or someone here. I think it's the tight black emo pants with those spiky shoes. He kind of seems like a scene kid right now, up to that hairdo and his, regrettable face tattoo. Somebody please kill Pyro so we can retcon him ever having that skull on his face. But I think the idea of Pyro as like a thrill-seeking rebel really works for who he is as a character these days, and I think that this outfit totally nails that. The active flame in his necklace is a fun touch too, so that he has a power source should he need to use it. I don't think that the active flames that are on the tail of his cape are even necessary because of the necklace, and I think the look would probably be stronger without them. The cape design is a bit Dracula meets Mr. Sinister for me, but it's like an obvious homage to his costume, so I can't really fault him for the choice. Overall, I think Pyro looks really fun and like he's ready to get lit. Number 7, Daken. Ooh, Daken. I don't really care for Daken as a character. I don't really care for Wolverine as a character either, so I'm sure not going to be a fan of his son. But what I will say about Daken is that he's very much the refined version of Wolverine, especially in this outfit. It's really, really hip. He's using his sex appeal, but he isn't shoving it in our faces, and he's following that trend of using simple colors and simple designs, but executing them in a high fashion way. I think the man bun is a stellar choice for his hairdo, and using claws as pins, obviously in like reference to his own biological claws, is fantastic. I don't think many of the other men will be having their hair slicked back into a clean man bun, so this is already setting him apart from the other riffraff at the gala. His jacket, I think, is meant to show that he's a hunter, just like how Wolverine's outfit in part 1 of my countdown made him seem like he hunted his cape stole thing. It looks like Daken hunted a bear and then had his coat fashioned out of the bear's skin. It's the largest part of this outfit, and the length goes down to his knees, but it doesn't swallow him in the slightest. I think with that exposed chest, it just makes him seem like he's even bigger and more intimidating than he already is. My favorite parts of this outfit are the belt and the slashed up pants. The solid gold snicked is a cute nod to his daddy's claw pop sound. I can't remember if Daken snicks as well, but either way, it's a fun touch of humor, but in like a very classy way. It's the only real pop of color in the outfit, and it was used very effectively. Just like how Sunspot used solid gold sparingly in his outfit to make it look rich, the same can easily be said here for Daken's, because that belt definitely adds value to the ensemble as opposed to taking it away. The pants definitely tell me more about who Daken is. He's like a civilized wild child, so a pair of super distressed black pants show me that he's both trendy and also not one to be messed with. The boots, though, are just okay for me. I think I would have preferred maybe some sort of high top or maybe even just like a smart loafer. I worry that these boots veer too much on the superhero-y, which then makes the outfit kind of look costumey, but I'm hoping that maybe they're just some kind of like buckle-based gothic boot, which I think would also probably be a fine addition to this outfit. Overall, Daken is da bomb in this outfit, and he looks great. Number 6, Bling. Bling is another character that I don't totally care about. She's one of the newer generations of X-Men, and even though she can produce diamond shards to expel out of her diamond hard skin, I feel like we rarely ever get to see her use that power in action. She's been around a lot, but never really in battle, and she's used more so as like a side piece character for others to chat with. I actually think I could grow on Bling if she was given more forefront and more spotlight. But the more that they paint her as just like another insecure student, the less interested I become in her and the more that she fades into the background. Bling in this outfit, though, is fantastic. It's another one that plays with proportions, and I think that proportioning is a basic element to any outfit success, and that Bling does it here with flair. I don't necessarily think this outfit is like a classy one per se. It's really just a mini dress with a belt and some boots and a big jacket, but man, I love it. It feels authentic to Bling as a character, and like she isn't pretending to be someone she's not by dressing up in a giant prom dress or something. It literally feels like Bling might have pulled these out of her closet or bought like each piece separately and then put them all together, because it really looks like she styled this look by combining separate elements to create this great fashion story. I love the giant earrings and the giant coat. They are the main courses for me here, and then her mini dress and the belt and the boots are like a tasty dessert. The diamond cutout on her chest is an obvious reference to her power, but it's cool that it's a cutout and not just like an embroidery, because just in case she needs to expunge some diamond shards through the night, maybe she can aim them through those little windows on her chest. Bling's skin kind of has that shiny, ethereal, galactic look because of its like diamond material, and I like that the dress plays with that in its design as well. It's kind of got like a webby, Milky Way neural feel to the pattern, and I think it just makes her look like even more of a rare crystal than she already is. I think this outfit has got a lot of spunk in it, and I think that Bling has a lot of spunk as well, and I just wish I could see more of it in the comics. This is the idealized version of the Bling that I'd like to see running around Krakoa, so hopefully the powers at Marvel take note of this design and give Bling the bling she deserves. Number 5, Tempo. I love this dress. I love its asymmetry, and I think the way it's been constructed is super interesting. It uses 2 different kinds of fabrics, one of which is like fish scaly and unique, and according to the cliff notes, the other one is supposed to shift around in movement. Or maybe it's this fish scaly one that's supposed to shift around in movement, I don't know, but both the materials look fantastic. Tempo's powers are chronally based, meaning that she controls the movement of time. So whether the fabric is supposed to speed up or slow down, I don't know. But either way, it's going to be a cool effect, and it's going to look like Tempo is shifting in and out of her time jaunts, even if she's just like nipping on a canapé. A stalwart design in I think all of Tempo's costumes is the giant bucket that she wears on her head as a helmet. I am very happy to not see a giant bucket on her head in this fabulous outfit. But it's also nice that she's got a bit of regalia up there. I am sure that spinning headpiece is probably going to have her nauseated as the night goes on, but it will probably look cool in its overall effect. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about this dress. It's just really classy, and I think that it's been cut in a way that we haven't seen yet in any of the other X fashions, and so it really stood out to me from the moment I saw it. Even her jewelry is like the perfect amount for something like this. Because there's so much going on with her gown and with the headpiece, you really couldn't pair any other heavy bangles or anything with it, because it would just be like an assault on our overall senses. The little bracelets and the tiny gold studs in her ears were just the perfect level of jewelry to bring this whole look totally upscale and make it look really classy. Number 4, Iceman. This is such a great Iceman. I'm loath to put something as basic as a tuxedo in my top 5, but I mean, come on. Look at how sophisticated Bobby is in this. First of all, I know it's just a jacket and pants. But there's no shirt, no shoes, and no extra little bangles anywhere. It's just straight up 2 pieces, and even though it might seem like kind of lazy in that way, I think it's actually brilliant. I mean, those colors too, my god. The gradient that's used to paint these fabrics is so breathtaking, especially when it's paired with his ice form. There's also a cute little belt there to help break up the gradient and give it some dimension, but honestly, I don't even know if it's needed. It might have been fine just to have those colors flow straight through from top to bottom. He's like a living, breathing, handsome iceberg, and no one's going to be confusing him as a waiter with this pattern on his clothes. There's also something to be said in this outfit's simplicity. I know the Hellfire Gala is really meant to be go big or go home for fashion, and for the most part I agree that's how it should be, but I don't really buy that in the case of Iceman. He likes attention, but I wouldn't necessarily label him as like an attention seeker. He doesn't need it or thrive off of it in the way that some characters do. Sure, he likes to crack jokes and he likes to get laughs out of people, but I think in the past that really came out of his own insecurity before he came out. And now that he's like fully realizing who he is as a human being, I don't really see him needing the drama of a giant ice piece sculpted around his body just there to get oohs and ahs from a crowd. This look is really giving me a modern, happy, self-actualized version of Iceman and kind of shows me the journey that he's taken. It's like a classic general silhouette, but it's also like a really confident one, and there are still playful elements in here that make it tailored to be Iceman specific. I'm really getting who he is as a character out of this outfit, and that, to me, is worth more in Hellfire Gala apparel than any sort of shocking or dramatic moment that he could possibly do with his ice powers. Number 3, Karma. Oh man, it is getting severe up in here. This Karma look is most definitely a serve. I love a gown, but man, when a pantsuit is executed correctly, it is deadly. And that is exactly the case with this Karma outfit. It's totally tailored to fit her body, but in such a great and unique way. I think the sharp edges along her shoulders and sleeves are a super telling way of just like letting us know how edgy Karma can be as a character. The jacket, again with like no shirt underneath it, is just super beautiful. The pants cinched in at the top of her waist and then ballooning outward towards the bottom is like super fashionable. I couldn't tell if I would have rathered for the other pant leg to go over her robotic leg instead of under it. I don't know if I liked the asymmetry as it is or if I thought it would have been more cohesive with both pant sleeves. But then the more I looked at it, the more I decided that I did like how the chrome steeliness of her robot leg broke up the green of the pantsuit. The whole ensemble gives her a lot of attitude, and her robot leg really just hammers that attitude home. The highlight for me is that giant pink collared cape thing that's jutting out from behind her. It's like definitely a nod to the physical manifestation of her powers and how they shape around her head, and I just think that it's gorgeous. I think the suit without it would still look great, but adding in this element took it from the streets to the Hellfire Gala. This is a moment where I think going big and adding an element of camp really paid off. I love the pink gradient that it's painted with, and it's great seeing it echoed down in her shoe as well. We also get a sense of it from her makeup, which normally I'm not crazy about that kind of design because we've seen it again and again and again, but I really do enjoy it here. I think because the motif of the pink fan is just so prevalent throughout the entire look that the makeup actually makes sense to me in this instance, and so that's why I think it really works for her. I also want to shout out to her bow tie necklace thing. It's another element of her outfit that is created with this fan design, and it also looks really sharp and as though she could remove it and actually slice someone's head off with it if she needed to. I just think that this Karma design really, really nailed who she is for me, even right up to the hairdo. Everyone better be on their best behavior at this Hellfire Gala, or else Karma's gonna be a bitch. Number 2, Chamber. Oh my god. I live and I die so I can live again just to look at this. That psionic wraparound scarf is just the best accessory I have seen in a long, long time. It's big, it's bold, it's cool, and it tells me everything I need to know about who Chamber is. It alone is worthy of my number 2 spot on this list, but then even just looking at his whole outfit really gives me even more details about him and his sense of style. Chamber is another one of those rebel boys, so it makes sense that he'd go down the ripped up routine with his clothes, but instead of on pants like people usually do, he's putting them on his shirt. I kind of get bondage from it. Is that just me? His sleeves have like a wrapped upness to them, and like it looks to me as though he's trying to break loose from the bondage that's holding him back or something. I'm probably reading too much into it, but that's just the image I get with like his wrapped up sleeves and then these slices along his chest, and I think it actually plays into his look of having his chest totally blown out by his psionic power. It's all about trying to break free. I think the skinny pants are great. He's totally like a gloomy sort of emo kid, so it's like on brand. And I think the platform shoes are also really fun. I think a classier shoe or boot could have brought this look a bit more upscale, but I mean, I don't hate these. I think Jono is going for a really fun, upbeat look, and the platform shoes do a good job of giving that to me. The only thing I might have added would have been like a tiny belt in the middle for a pop of color, or like something to add a little bit more dimension. I think the exposed midriff is meant to like be that separating factor between top and bottom blacks here, and I don't hate it, but I think even just a small little textured thing there might have helped marry the two halves even more. Overall, this scarf is just so stunning for me, and I really wish it was a real thing. Before I get to my number one favorite fan art design, I wanted to take a moment to give out some honorable mentions. As I said in the beginning of this video, it was really hard for me to choose a top 20 out of so many great designs, and these 4 were the hardest for me to cut from my list. I think the Blink design uses her trademark green in some really fun ways, and this Karma again takes her power shape and uses it as a motif throughout the look. This Dazzler, I think, is an homage to the cowl of her Age of Apocalypse days, and I think it looks really classy and kind of goddessy, like she's the sun in human form. And then this Boom Boom just literally screams Boom Boom to me. It's probably one of the best ones in terms of character representation because it's loud, it's in your face, and it's unapologetically there, just like Boom Boom is herself. Now, without further ado, here is my number one most favorite fan-designed costume for the X-Men's Hellfire Gala. Number 1, Exodus. Ugh, I just couldn't when I saw this design. I told you shirtless men were going to be a theme throughout this list, so it's only natural that it ends with one of them too. I mean, how do I even start to break this down? Exodus is a character who commands attention just by being there. He's not one who's cracking jokes and seeking the spotlight per se, but his presence inevitably draws your eyes to him. In the case of this outfit, I would say it's kind of doing the same thing as his personality is in that way, except for that huge giant gold statement piece that he's carrying on his back, which is really clamoring for attention. But just like, wow, it does not get any more regal than this. This gold thing on his back is like a mega-sized version of what he usually wears, and while it's definitely attention drawing, I don't get the sense that he's specifically wearing this to turn heads. I think to someone like Exodus, this whole outfit just seems like something natural to wear to an event like the Hellfire Gala. It is hands down my most favorite thing that I saw in all of the Hellfire designs, including in the official ones. But even taking like just that gold thing of his outfit aside, literally everything else in this is so good too. His robe is absolutely gorgeous, and again, it's simple in a way because he's just wearing a pants underneath it, but in this case, it's really the accessories that are making the entire outfit pop. His headgear and his shoulder pads, which I think are like the things that are holding that giant gold statement piece onto his back, and his belt and his rings, and even the tassels on his shoes. These accessories are just like speaking to me, and even though I don't think Exodus is explicitly bragging through them, he clearly knows his worth, and he sees no problem in making sure that others know his worth as well. I'm just so awed by this design, and I think Exodus showing up in this outfit would turn every single head until they fall off their necks. Bravo. Well, that's the end of my list. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of my top 20 favorite X-Men Hellfire Gala fan art designs, and I'm only sad that I couldn't talk about even more of the things that I saw. Feel free to let me know what some of your favorite designs were in the comments, and subscribe for more videos like this and a whole lot of other stuff. You can also check out my social media scenes for a peppering of different kinds of X content, or my website, greatxmentations.com, where I generally put all of this stuff. Thanks for tuning in and sharing this countdown with me, and be sure to come back soon for more Great X-Mentations.